Welcome to Enjoying Life, a program of music, chatter, and friends, designed to put a refreshing moment in your day. Now, please welcome your award-winning hosts, Dr. Jerry and Little Jan.
Oh my, it's time to do it again, sweetheart.
Oh, isn't this fun?
You know, I just love it. And we meet people everywhere that talk and says they've seen us on TV, and that makes us smile. Let's have a seat. Have a seat right
let's
there.
Sit in.
We'll talk a minute. You know, we got letters from Joy up in North Carolina. They're watching it just out of Charlotte.
They're watching it on the computer there.
They're watching it on the streaming, they call that.
Streaming, yes.
And then,
Isn't that awesome?
I MC a lot for our Canadian people, and I met and I heard from a man in Spokane, Washington. Can you believe that? Watching the program in Spokane, Washington. Wow. Well, wherever you are, we're glad they're watching.
We're excited.
Let's know how they can, we haven't mentioned that very much. We'd love to be a part of your house. How about that?
We would.
And what we've got here on our table is our motto. Our motto is, take Christ as your partner and enjoy life. This is a good bookmarker as well as something to sit on your desk
and
or your desk.
If they'll write to us, we'll send that to them.
Yeah, but I want a book. Because, they pay for the printing and pay for the postage. If they'll just include a dollar bill, that doesn't go very far anymore, but it will help pay for postage.
It'll pay the postage.
And we'll send them one of those to put on their desk,
And they can use it as a bookmark, and it's got something on the backside.
Yeah, settle your destiny and enjoy the trip.
Yes.
And our email is enjoyinglifewithjerryandjan@gmail.com. And you can, and we'd like to know what you do to enjoy life. Write us a little. We don't want a book, we don't want a book. Well, we want about a paragraph or two, and we might share. We've been thinking about, maybe some future programs sharing some of the mail of how other people are enjoying life.
Yeah.
How do you enjoy life? By traveling, or what do you enjoy? You enjoy music so much.
I enjoy music. I enjoy writing, and I enjoy painting.
Yeah.
So. I never have a bored moment.
No, you enjoy, and some of your paintings, some of our friends have them in their home. They're on the wall.
Yes.
You're a good painter, not just because she's my wife, but she's a good painter.
I don't know if they're good.
They are good.
It's enjoying life.
Well, they're good. Well, it's time to do a little singing.
Here's
a song that says, "I think I'll stop and dream about heaven." Let's go sing.
Let's do it.
All right.
I think I'll stop, dream about heaven for a while. Dream about a land where there's no heartache and no trial. I'm getting anxious to go. I don't have a lot here below, so I think I'll stop, dream about heaven for a while. I'd love to read the good book, see the future unfold, read about a city God is building, where streets are pure as gold. When my heart gets full of trouble and my faith needs a smile, that's when I stop, dream about heaven for a while. I think I'll stop, dream about heaven for a while. Dream about a land where there's no heartache and no trial. I'm getting anxious to go. I don't have a lot here below, so I think I'll stop, dream about heaven for a while. The sun is always shining there, no cloudy days, no rain, no hungry little children, no folks filled with pain. No harm will ever come to us, God's presence will abide. Think I'll stop, dream about heaven for a while. I think I'll stop, dream about heaven for a while. Dream about a land where there's no heartache and no trial. I'm getting anxious to go. I don't have a lot here below, so I think I'll stop, dream about heaven. I'm gonna stop, dream about heaven. Think I'll stop, dream about heaven for a while.
I got to tell about that song. I was speaking at a church in Orlando, Florida. Next day, I was going to go play golf with the pastor. He couldn't go, so I went by myself. So the guy put me with guys. I didn't know who they were. They didn't know who I was. So, you're just playing golf. So it was, I like to talk. So when you're on the tee or the green, I'm chatting. And it was about the third green. It's a beautiful day. And I said, boy, this must be what heaven's going to be like. And the guy said, I don't believe in that. I said, really? Nah, he said, that's fantasy. I said, well, you're playing golf with the guy that believes in heaven. I said, I plan to go someday. He said, what about me? I don't believe. I said, you're not going. And I went back to the motel.
And wrote the song.
And wrote this song, because, we dream about heaven occasionally.
Yes, we do.
And you remember we used to sing for Albert E. Brumley, his big homecoming out there in the rodeo arena in Springfield, Arkansas?
Arkansas.
And usually ran about 12 to 14,000 in the arena.
Big.
And I debuted that song out there.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I remember that very well, and it went on to be a top chart song for us.
Yes, it
It's
did.
just a simple song, but sometimes simple songs like You Are My Sunshine or Dream About Heaven, people can catch on to them.
That's it. That's it. We like
We
that.
got some wonderful guests coming on,
We really have some nice guests today.
and they're from the mountains.
They're from the mountains, and you have known
I've
this
known
guy
Austin
forever.
since Moby Dick was a minute. I'll tell you what, forever, And they're from the foothills, but they are in an unusual business,
Mm-hmm.
And so in honor of them coming and the mountains that they're from, there's a song that I love to sing, and let's just sing a chorus of it. How Great Thou Art. Isn't that a good song?
Feel like this.
All right, this is good, because he created the mountains.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Oh, that was too short. That was too short. Let's do it again. Can we do it one more time? Mr. Music Man, let me hear it again. Sing it now. Join with us. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Oh, I hope you were singing with us. Don't go away. You'll love our guests.
Well, we've sung about the mountains, and we've sung about, dreaming about heaven. But what a joy it is. It's a dream of mine to be with a friend and his wife for
Yes.
many years. Now, I haven't known her as long as I've known this guy. But I don't know. He probably came over on the Mayflower, and I was waiting on him, But it's a joy to have Austin and Elaine Echols with us on our show today.
It's a joy to be with you, and you and James.
Thank you for coming so very, very much. Austin, before we get into what you do, you and Elaine, people need to know that you and I were roommates
That's right.
in college in our sophomore year.
That's right.
Who can we tell
That's
those
a
years?
long time ago.
1955, 54, and 55.
About 60 years ago.
About 60 years ago.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
And we
That's
haven't
incredible.
changed a bit. We're still, still young as ever.
Well,
Well, your
we
heart-
always looked old,
Your
right?
heart is young. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the heart that makes you young.
That's right.
But, it's been a joy. Your family and my family have been intertwined
sir.
because your dad and my dad were at the
Right.
publishing house together. And then we got separated as we went our separate ways. I think you originally looked toward education, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I ended up in the administration, vice president of a university, and tried to get out of it. After a long period of time,
Yeah.
you want to kind of back up and retire.
But you know, you
can't
didn't
do
stay
that.
with the education. You know,
I
you
stayed
moved
with
on.
the education for a number of years. About 30 years of my life.
Wow.
Was in education.
You know, we have some
That is
stories that
incredible.
if they want to just keep the television on for about 2 or 3 hours, we could tell them some stories
I
about
wish
when
I
we
could
were in
tell
college,
some of the
you know?
stories when you were in school.
That's only between you and Austin. We want to talk to Elaine also.
Well, I know that. I know. Elaine, you're sort of caught, I'll tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about us being students and doing things,
Yeah.
I've got to tell one story that
Oh,
probably was one of the better ones.
Okay.
Your dad said
can we live with this?
Your dad
Can we-
yeah, I think we can do it. It's all right.
Because, you know, college kids or something else.
Well,
Okay,
they do
tell
some
your
things
story.
they don't need to tell you every once in a while. But your dad bought a brand new Buick
Yes, he
in
did.
Flint, Michigan.
That's right. But he
said-
lived in Washington.
That's right. Lived in Yakima, Washington.
That's right. You're right.
And you told me, you said, Austin, I've got the money to fly or get a bus and go to Flint, Michigan and get the car. Why don't we just use that money and eat on it and do some things and let's get up there? What do you got in mind, Jerry? He said, I think we can thumb. I said, I'm not too good at that. He
Now,
said,
wait, let me stop you right
All
there.
right.
See, my dad lived in Washington State, and we were going to school in Tennessee
That's
at
right.
the university, and Dad bought a new car, but was going to have it delivered in Flint, Michigan, and he wanted me to pick it up and drive it back to Washington.
Well, yeah.
And so I had to go get it. Now go on with
had
your
to go
story.
get it and bring it back to
But
school
he
and
sent me
pack
the
up
money,
to
but
take
I
it.
said, you can use that and we'll thumb.
That's right. Now we packed up our little pack and got out in the front of the college on Main Street.
Yeah, we did.
Threw the thumb up like
That's
we knew what we were doing.
I'm going.
Not just short right after that, the trailer truck stopped.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we got in with
You
him.
remember it pretty good.
Oh yeah, and got in, and about 100 miles later, another trailer truck stopped him. And we were talking and wondering, what are they doing? So the driver got back in and drove for about 15 miles, and then pulled off at a place where he could stop. They moved around and was backing up, and we said, what is going on? He said, we'll tell you in a minute. So when he got it stopped, he turned and looked at the two of us. He said, you're riding free of charge. That truck is overloaded, got 100-pound sacks of potatoes, too many. You know where they're going to go and how to do it. Get back there and work on it. And we unloaded those potatoes on it.
That wasn't a free trip, was it?
It wasn't a free trip.
No, I remember that. And that's a good story. I could go with that. And we picked up a car, picked up a brand new Buick
Got the
at
car,
the plant,
and
came back to
that's
Tennessee, and then I took it to the West Coast for
That's
Dad.
right.
And I remember riding. Are we talking too much?
Yeah,
you know, okay.
I was
We
gonna
got
say-
to include Elaine. No, we got to include y'all. We want to know what you're doing now.
You're doing now.
We're doing a wedding chapel.
You have a wedding chapel
Wedding chapel
Where
in
is
Helen.
this? Helen,
in Helen,
Georgia.
Georgia.
Went up there
Weren't you
and-
from Alabama?
Well, I was born in Alabama. And,
Well, how'd you get in Helen?
We got
It's a
into
beautiful
Tennessee for
place.
college, and then went back to Alabama. Decided to go up to Helen, and it just looked like a beautiful little town.
Yeah.
Now I got to tell you a little story how we got the chapel.
Does he ever let you tell a story?
You want to tell it, or you want me to tell you this?
Tell us.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Well,
I'll get her to. I'll get her to jump in a minute.
Go ahead.
I got to Helen and knew one person. Didn't know many people. And the guy that I knew was the husband of the mayor. She was a lady mayor, and nice guy. And I said, I want you to show us around and let us see where we could put a chapel. He looked at it. He said, you got to be kidding. Not in Helen, Georgia. They've tried it. It won't work. I said, we want to put a chapel here. No, you're not going to make it. Well, let us look around. Okay, we drove around, got through, and started to leave, and he said, could I talk you out of coming to Helen for a chapel? Please come, but just don't come for a chapel. But we did it anyway.
Yeah.
Bought an old restaurant. Everything worked beautifully. The Father's blessed us, and I like to say that because we've been spiritually blessed throughout our life.
Now, what
How
they
long
need
have
to
you
know,
been there?
well, wait a minute though. But
Now-
what they need to know, when you're saying chapel, they may think he's just talking about building a church. What you're talking about is you built a wedding chapel,
Yes, a wedding chapel.
not just a sanctuary or people to come worship.
Right.
You built a wedding chapel.
We took three-story building, converted it, which was an old restaurant. Then we put in that a small little chapel, vaulted
okay.
ceiling and everything, up to 12, 15 guests. Then we did the garden room, three walls of windows,
wow.
all the ficus trees and all
you
the
help decorate all
gazebo
this?
and everything.
Somewhat. Okay.
He did a lot.
And I'll let her chime in here in just a minute.
Well, I wonder when.
I don't know. I learned all of this from you,
I
Jerry,
can't
when
say
I was
that to
in
anybody.
college.
I can say it to an old roommate.
And then across the street, we built a 22-foot vaulted ceiling chapel and a
I've been there.
courtyard.
Beautiful, yeah.
And now, I will say this. And all we do in the bookings and other things, you know who runs the chapel?
Oh, is that right?
Elaine does.
Elaine runs the chapel. Do you do other things? I know if he's going to, you do the ceremonies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, how are you a part of this thing? Huh?
I do everything else.
You do everything.
I book.
Really?
He does the talking part.
Well, I book couples. I take care of all the business, the computer work, the
Do you
taxes.
do the cakes? Do you make sure they have cakes?
I make sure they're
and
there. I don't
flowers?
personally bake them. I do
Well,
it
now,
one time.
how many weddings have you done?
We've been there, retired, a little over 15 years.
Wow.
Done just short of 5,000 weddings.
5,000 weddings.
Yes.
What's the most you've ever done in one day?
6.
6?
No.
Well,
Except for a Valentine's
Day. Now, on
is that a big
Valentine's
day?
Well,
Yes, it is.
we were talking about an ordinary weekend, but now Valentine's Day, when it was on Saturday, about 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
we did 17 in one day.
How in heaven's name
don't
can
know.
you tie 17 knots
I
in
don't
one
know.
day?
And they're all still married, you know.
Oh, you don't know that. You just said, I hope so. Well, that's something. Well, isn't that something else? Let me ask you this. Now, I don't know if anybody else got the nerve, but I'll ask you. Is this a ministry or
Yes.
is it a business?
It's a covenant
Both.
wedding. I start
It's
out.
both? Let her say so.
It's both.
You quickly
It's
said both.
but we do feel it as a ministry. We do not feel comfortable doing civil ceremonies or anything like that.
So you do, and you include may God bless you and stuff like that.
I start, Jerry. I start off, if it's all right for me to say it this way. Everybody that walks in front, greetings in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Oh, do you really?
And I start off with a covenant wedding, saying you're making promises to each other and to the Father. And I talk to them about breaking those or not breaking those promises in your wedding.
Wow.
Really?
And
so that truly is, I'm
is a
learning
message.
something here.
one of the most touching
Is this the same guy I roomed with?
One of the most touching things, I was out on the sidewalk not long ago, and a couple walked up. And I said, hello. And he said, we got married here about 3 years ago. I said, well, that's nice. I'm glad you're still together. He said, that's not the important part. We were sitting in your office when the wedding was over. And you started talking to us and said a few things spiritually and it was encouraging us. And some of the things you said, you will never realize what it meant to us.
That's
said
great.
simply the reason, let me tell you, we're going to the mission field this year.
Isn't that
and
something?
we're going because we went into the church and started working with them after what you said to us. And if that's not a ministry, there's not one.
That's true. That's very true. Well, Elaine, we're trying to get you in this conversation. I
don't talk much.
You don't talk. You just work, huh?
She's kidding you now.
Where are you from, Elaine?
I was born in Alabama.
Oh, you're the Alabamian.
But I was raised around the Atlanta area.
Oh, were you? And so your background, was it in something of this nature, or were you raised anything like that? Is your dad a preacher or anything?
No.
Were you raised in church?
Oh, yes, very definitely.
Very
definitely. Yes. I was in education before I met up with him.
You met up with him. You were in education. What did you do?
I was a math professor at Georgia State
You were a
University.
math professor?
Yeah.
I tell you,
I thought you got to be smart to be a math professor.
The contrast is a doctor in philosophy, a doctor in math.
You do have a
She's a
doctor
square,
in
and I'm an
philosophy.
all-around person. You understand?
Oh, is that what? She's a square. And I think you're a triangle. You're one with something missing,
I
aren't
get
you?
in trouble all the time. You know that, don't you?
Oh, me. What a joy it is to have you on our program and to learn. I never dreamed. You know how you think, I always kind of thought of you as an educator, because that's where you're headed.
Yes.
But I never dreamed that you'd ever go this direction, and you've been doing it for 15 years.
We didn't dream it. Neither one of us.
He kind of wanted to do a chapel, and I thought, it won't work, but I will figure out a logical way to convince him otherwise. The more research I did, it supported the idea, and we were both willing to work and don't want to fail, so we did good.
Well, that's good.
That is.
You obviously, I know, I couldn't say this to everybody, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
I say this with all due respect. I love my roommate, not in an uncommonly love, but because I care for him and always have. But our other roommate, we had 3 roommates.
Yes.
He passed away. Eddie passed away.
Eddie.
But it's always good to see y'all. But obviously, probably hard work is what made it so successful, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes, well, we have fun too.
And you have fun too?
We have fun. We have
enjoy
challenges,
life.
and we
You have challenges?
attack the challenges, deal with things that come up.
We have all kind of wedding challenges. It's been about a year ago now.
Yeah.
And we had a bride come in and said, I want my little boy to be in the
Now, I
wedding.
only got 1 minute. Is
Only
this a
got
short
1
story?
minute.
4
Tell it quick.
years of age. Well, I told her he could be in. Ran around us.
The kid did?
Yeah, while we were trying to do the wedding, grabbed the flowers, banged them on the floor.
Really?
Then he turned around and saw her train dress and picked it up and crawled underneath it and hit the back of the dress during the wedding. So we have a lot of fun in our weddings.
Oh, that's a child in a wedding, isn't it?
We have a lot of fun.
My goodness. It's been so good having you guys on here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming, and
Next
thank
time
you,
come,
Elaine.
you and I will talk.
I didn't hear Janet.
I'm sorry. I just...
But it's so interesting, and there's so much to talk about and so many stories. Well, thank you for staying with us. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back. But we want to say to both of you again, thanks so much.
And thank you
Make
for
another
inviting
trip to Atlanta, and let's get together. Go out to eat, talk, or maybe even be on the program. We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying with us. And in honor of my good friend Austin and Elaine being with us to have a wedding chapel, I've asked Jan to sing a song. She sings this a lot when we're on cruises and we do anniversary celebrations, and she does a lot of weddings and sings it as well. And I know you're going to enjoy it, so sit back, enjoy a little Jan as sings Only God Could Love You More.
I asked the Lord for someone, and I always knew that in God's time and in His way it would be someone like you. All my hopes and all my dreams were suddenly fulfilled. It's almost unbelievable. Our love was in His will. Only God could love you more. For He gave me this love I have for you. What a blessing to know He's your Lord. For only God could love you more than I do. I'm tempted to be saying that we met by chance, but God was there at every turn and in every circumstance. To share this life God gave me, it seems such a fearful task. But every moment we have shared is more than I could ask. Only God could love
If that doesn't make my heart pitter-patter, there's nothing that will. You know, that was so good, Angel.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, so good. I don't know how much time we have. You know, we have little secrets among us. It won't be a secret after I tell it to you, will it? You know? But when we're apart, you know, like on the stage, she's on one side, I'm on the other. Maybe she's in the audience or whatever. And I'll say, you know, that means I love you. And then she'll answer back, I love you too. Well, we're glad you were with us.
We
and
are.
we'll see you. We love you.
Till
Stay tuned
next
for
time.
next month or next week. And we'll see you then. You ready?
Yes.
All right.
We're going to leave.